What's up, everyone? See some people trickling on in. Thank you so much for hitting open on the app, Substack Live. This is Tyler Dunn. This is Go Long. This is about you. Want to definitely do more of these videos, just impromptu through the course of the season to answer any questions you guys may have. But definitely let me know in the comments how the audio quality is, because man, I've been going back and forth with Substack support team, and sometimes the audio is good with headphones, sometimes it's good without. A lot of times it's been terrible with both. So please let me know. Now, maybe it's my voice. Maybe I just have a scratchy voice, but I want to make sure you can hear what in the hell we're saying all the time. Also, the podcast with Bob last week, we got that issue figured out with the microphone. And of course, Real Football with Jim Monis. That's always been crystal clear. So definitely pop in. Let me know if it sounds all right to you. And most importantly, what's on your mind? Week 12 in the NFL. Yeah, there's a lot to get into. We'll definitely dive deeper with Monis on that show. We're going to schedule that for tomorrow, so it'll be posted either tomorrow night or Wednesday morning for our subscribers. But the plan there is to dive a little deeper into how these rosters are constructed. I mean, the Rams as the gold standard blueprint, wasn't it just yesterday that Les Snead was wearing that F them picked shirt, trading away all the draft capital for the Von Millers, for the Odell Beckham Juniors, obviously for Matthew Stafford the offseason prior. And I think around the NFL, I mean, we heard it from Brandon Beane here in Buffalo. The conventional wisdom from other GMs was, well, we're not going to do that here because we don't want to be cap strong and cap hell and be caught up in all this dead money and not be able to consistently build a team. And I'm sure that there are many examples of franchises that have kind of lit themselves on fire with those kind of trades. But I mean, right there, the Rams are the perfect example that you can do all the above. Like, you can go for it with vets. Just make sure you hit on your picks. And that's exactly what they've done in 23 and 24 specifically after Aaron Donald retires, as Cooper Kupp ages, right? Those are two guys that were the most important players on your Super Bowl winning team. Kupp won Super Bowl MVP. Aaron Donald made the play, trashing Quentin Spain, the Bengals guard, to get into Joe Burrow's mug in about 0.2 seconds, it felt like, with Jamar Chase wide open down the field. That was a 4th and 1, right? Yeah. Chase is open on Jalen Ramsey, but Aaron Donald blows it up. So they win their ring. Then everybody gets hurt. Everybody gets old. And yeah, they are in dire straits cap-wise, and they have one bad season. But then what happens? They immediately boomerang back to the league's elite because you have an elite quarterback and you're drafting really well. I mean, that game last night against the Buccaneers, who, I get it, like, Tampa Bay is in a world of hurt right now with their injuries. Man, really bad. I know Tim Parker just popped on. He's our resident Carolina Panthers fanatic. It could be Carolina's division in the NFC South. They played twice. If Baker Mayfield's out for a while, it looks like he tore up that left shoulder. You can only imagine what's going through his mind. But he played through a torn labrum in that same shoulder that last year with Cleveland, and probably cost himself millions upon millions of dollars when the Browns just decided to move on from the Baker Mayfield business to get a mature adult in the room like Deshaun Watson. We see how that played out. Yeah, I would think he's going to be cautious. Like, you have to protect Baker against himself. It's funny, we had a Baker Mayfield story ready to go, and I was going to hold it for a week. I think we're going to have to hold it a little bit longer before that sees the light of day when he gets back out there. Objectively, hopefully we see him back out there because he represents everything that is right about football. I would think, though, after all of that happened in Cleveland, even Baker Mayfield, somebody who tries to grit through literally every injury, realizes it's better to get it fixed for the long term. But anyways, yeah, so this is who the Rams had, but it's still a Bucs team that has been competitive. You saw it here against the Bills. I mean, it was closer than the score indicated. They're down 5, 7 minutes to go, 4th and 2, when Todd Bowles elects to punt there. So they've been in these games, winning a lot of them, and that wasn't even a game against the Rams. I mean, that was over by the end of the first quarter. Between, was it Durant, the cornerback, just stealing that bobbling ball away from Cade Otton, returning that for a touchdown. You've got Kobe Turner, Jared Verse just wreaking havoc on Baker Mayfield. These are guys, I mean, Verse Turner, Brain Fisk. I mean, these are guys that they drafted. I should pull up exactly where they were drafted. And again, we're going to get into it with Monas because he's our resident front office exec. So he's been in this position. But yeah, and started in 2023. So they win the Super Bowl in 21. They have the really bad year in 22, and they don't have their top pick. That went to Detroit, and they used it on Devin Witherspoon, and they got Jahmyr Gibbs that draft. So it was the rare win-win of a trade. I mean, everybody won in that deal. But eventually, the Rams are able to draft some players here. They win Jared Verse at 19 overall. He's been incredible. Braden Fisk, 39 overall. That's right. That's in 2024. And then you go back to 2023 when they didn't have a first-round pick as well. Byron Young at 77, Kobe Turner at 89. I mean, these are 4 players on your front that are a young nucleus that you can build with. Like, if you're Matthew Stafford, I get it. Maybe this is a final farewell tour. You win MVP. You get to maybe even win another Super Bowl. You solidify your Canton resume. He's got the numbers, obviously. He's had the numbers his whole 17 career. But to then get the MVPs, the Super Bowls, all that good stuff, I feel like he's going to keep playing. Why wouldn't he keep playing? Why wouldn't Matt Stafford continue to play football when the nucleus is young? They're going to have $96 million in cap space in 2026 per Spot Track. Crunched those numbers this morning. You've got Atlanta's first-round pick from their trade up to get James Pierce, the pass rusher out of Tennessee. So you're going to have 2 first-round picks. Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua as good of a 1-2 punch at receiver that you could ask for. So with those picks, maybe they help the offensive line out. Yeah, I don't know what the numbers are. I'd have to really look this up. Like the richest players in NFL history, just on pure like career earnings. Stafford's top 5 for sure. He might even be top 3. So he's got all the money in the world, but why wouldn't you want another 40, 50 million a year when you're playing this well? Look, his brain is on a different level. Like he has seen the field so clearly, manipulating defenses. I don't know if you call it the touchdown to Coley Parkinson, the tight end. Like it was another no-look pass by Stafford, but he's not just showing off. Like he does it for a reason. He's keeping the eyes on Puka Nacua because that's drawing up whatever it was, 2-3 Buccaneer defenders, freezes them, and just laces that no-look touchdown. So his brain's fine, and his arm is, if not peak Stafford Lions, like slinging it 60 yards downfield to Calvin Johnson strong, it's still one of the best arms in football. I mean, he can still get the ball to any part of the field, and he can throw on the run. This isn't yet like Russell Wilson hitting the wall, Aaron Rodgers hitting the wall. I mean, even Peyton Manning went from torching the record books to winning a Super Bowl in 15, but his body was completely breaking down. Like he'd see it, but he couldn't get the ball there at that point. Tom Brady, at that point of his career with the Bucs, the final year where they went like 8-9 and slipped into the playoffs and got smashed by Dallas. He was like a Papa Shot quarterback at that point. It was just like catch a snap, throw it underneath. Stafford is still elite. He can make every throw. So I don't know why he wouldn't just keep playing. And this is a career really unlike anybody else. When you think of the all-time quarterbacks, how many quarterbacks have played this well at 34, 35, 36, 37 with no signs of slowing down? Like he should just keep playing. He was stuck in Detroit for all those years. Right at that point, poor ownership, poor management. I mean, Calvin Johnson's quitting in his prime. One of your best players ever, just like the one before him, Barry Sanders, just leaves because the state of affairs is that bad. I don't know which Hall of Fame quarterback would have excelled where Matthew Stafford was able to excel and put up those numbers. So eventually, like things turned around right when he left, and a huge part of that was the trade and the capital the Lions got out of it. But now he's with Sean McVay, Les Snead. This is a scheme at the cutting edge, obviously. They got a good running back in Kyron Williams. This is a team, really, speaking of Kyron Williams, his fumble against San Francisco at the 1-yard line earlier this year, I think it was toward the end of the fourth quarter, would have put them up 2 scores. They would have won that game, and then they had the blocked kick against the Eagles. I mean, they're just those 2 plays away from being an undefeated football team. So given the talent, the way the organization is run, the picks that they're going to have next year, you're playing as well as you have at any point in your career. And Stafford got into this after the game. I wrote about it in our column at golongtd.com if you want to check it out. He sounded like somebody who isn't even thinking about retirement. He said he doesn't know if this is the best year he's ever had, but this sounds like the most fun he's ever had playing quarterback. And he brought up how a bad practice will still like eat him alive. And he's appreciating practice. I mean, every other quarterback, whether they say it or not, at that point of their career, they're not enjoying practice like Matthew Stafford says he is. And the reason why he noted was training camp. He missed all of training camp with the back issue, this mysterious back issue, and all the mixed signals that McVay was putting out there. The vibes were bad for Stafford, for the Rams at that point. You wondered, what does this quarterback even have to give? I mean, hell, I'm 38. I've got back issues. I'm just sitting on a chair writing articles. I can't imagine having back issues as a quarterback. That could be a pinata at times out there. He stayed healthy, so that's a credit to the Rams training staff. He's having fun. He's enjoying it. I think that's the motivation there. Is he said he had something taken away from him, so he realized how much he truly loved it. He's loving ball, and why wouldn't you right now if you're the LA Rams? And the fans even showed up. Isn't that crazy? Watching that game on TV, and you actually hear noise when the other team is facing a third down, and they're having to audibly do things at the line of scrimmage with hand signals and call audibles. Very strange. Usually it's 49er fans or Steeler fans or Packer fans just raiding SoFi Stadium and taking it over. I'm not saying the Rams are going to have a home field advantage at all. I mean, they're going to get in the playoffs and face whoever. I don't know. Pick your fan base. They're going to take over that stadium. But for one night, Stafford even had a red smile on his face. It's kind of nice to have a good atmosphere. And for them to show up, use the word show up. So the fans are showing up. I guess there's other things to do in LA, but man, appreciate your football team. Come on, Los Angeles. I know you got shit to do. There's a lot of other teams. There's the beach. There's fun. It's not exactly living here in Western New York where, you got football and hockey and chicken wings, but you got the best team in football in Los Angeles. Just enjoy them. All right. Now we're getting some commentary pouring in here. Again, if you're hanging out with us on Substack Live, ask whatever you'd like, say whatever you'd like. Tim, he says it's November 24th, and the Carolina Panthers are involved in a massive Monday Night Football game for the NFC playoff picture. Panthers 49ers, a big one. Love it. You know where my mind goes, Tim? 1998, Kevin Green, Greg Lloyd, the ultimate 1990s badass who doesn't get his due. Just a horrifying player to go against, I'd imagine. He was a Carolina Panther too, I believe, at that point. Kerry Collins, Tim Bayaka Batuka, Anthony Johnson, Mushin Muhammad. Hey, they went to the NFC Championship and gave big Green Bay sweat for a little bit there. That's what I'm thinking of as a Panthers 49ers. That era, that'd be great. I don't know how many Panther fans are down there. I grew up a Charlotte Hornets fan, like all other 90s kids, the teal uniforms and Larry Johnson, Alonzo Mourning. Never really got into the Panthers, but man, I want there to be a Panthers fan base. It can be a fun team. There can be some hope there. Dan Morgan has been drafting dudes who love football. There's a cool core. You got Xavier Legette who eats raccoons. I don't know if he's a good football player, but that's fun. I guess I don't know what a raccoon tastes like, but it's funny to hear him talk about eating raccoons. Ted McMillan. Hey, scouts weren't sure if he loves football. He's been a stud. And Bryce Young, we still have that question on Bryce Young. He threw for 1,000,000 yards last week. Outside of that game, getting over 100 has been a challenge. But he's got some weapons around him, and I think it'll be interesting to watch. Hey, you got Rico Dowdle, Chuba Hubbard, you got a running game, a line. They want to play a specific way. They want to, I suppose, against these superior teams, take the air out of the ball like they did against Green Bay. No Baker Mayfield. If he does miss time, I would not be surprised one bit if Carolina wins that division. And it's been a while since Carolina's had a relevant football team out there. Oh, I see that Tim Reuter just joined the party. He's our Lions aficionado, fanatic. He's been through some hard times. Tim has taken us through the highs and the lows of those playoff losses. I can't imagine what Sunday was like for you, Tim, as Jameis and the gang. Isaiah Hodgins, a go-long OG. We talked to him way back when. Thought he was going to take over the world off the street for the New York Giants. He's back with the Giants. catches, he had a hell of a touchdown catch. They got a little bit of a scare from the Giants, but Jahmyr Gibbs is the most electrifying, exciting, can't miss athlete in the sport. What else do you say about Jahmyr Gibbs? He's just playing at a completely different speed than everybody else. He slams the gas pedal and see ya. The indelible mark of that game, I can't get it out of my head. I never will. It was Penei Sewell throwing up the touchdown when Jahmyr Gibbs, I think his foot was at the 41 or 42 yard line. And the Giants safety had the angle on him. And any other running back, the safety catches him or at least makes him cut it back inside at worst. Jahmyr Gibbs just runs right by him. Tim says the bigger concern for the Lions is an inability of the defense to generate pressure without blitzing, or the interior of the offensive line struggling against tough defensive fronts. Oh, man, what an evergreen comment, right, Tim? I feel like we try to explore that, with the pass rush. You've got Aiden Hutchinson. He's going to get a ton of hits and sacks and do his thing. You need somebody else because inevitably somebody else is going to get one-on-ones. They're going to have opportunities. It looked like Muhammad could be that guy. He's kind of plateaued over the last few weeks, it seems. Before him, Zadarius Smith. They've tried a lot of different bodies, a lot of different players, but that's the key for every single team in the league. You've got to be able to get pressure without blitzing. The Houston Texans just beat the shit out of Josh Allen with 4 all game and dropping other guys in coverage. Will Anderson Jr., Danielle Hunter, that's the best edge tandem in football, and there's different ways to do it, right? They traded a lot to get Will Anderson, and people thought they were nuts at the time. But their scouting staff is looking ahead, and they see, that next draft class isn't as good a pass rusher. We're going to get our guy this year. That's who we want to build our culture around. The way he works, eats, sleeps, breathes football is on a different level. You make that move, and you give up first-round capital. You don't think twice. Kind of similar philosophy to the Les Snead with the picks. We tend to look at future picks like it's the mystery box on Family Guy, right? Peter Griffin loved the mystery box over, what was it, a boat? It could be a boat in the mystery box. Look, what could be is enticing, but what is pretty damn cool too. They knew Will Anderson was going to terrorize offenses, so they went and got him. They knew Danielle Hunter was a stud. They went and paid him, whatever it was. I think the initial contract was 2 years, $50 million, something like that. It's a premier position. At these premier positions, I think you just get talent by any means necessary. Quarterback, pass rusher, shutdown corner, can even throw a receiver into the mix if it's a special dude. Yeah, so I don't know if the Lions are going to be able to get pressure without blitzing. It doesn't seem like it's you can't just wave a magic wand and create that kind of a world, which is, look, we're 12 weeks into this season. You kind of know the teams that can do that and teams that can't. Houston 6-5. They've got a pair of really tough games coming up. They survive that. You don't want to face them in the playoffs because you know that they're going to be able to just relentlessly get after your quarterback while keeping guys in coverage and making plays on the back end. You saw the one where Allen kind of forces it. It's tipped. It's picked. The best of the best are going to make those mistakes against that kind of a defense, and the Rams are able to do that. Chris Shula, D coordinator, I believe he was college roommates with Sean McVay back in the day, so maybe he was a little hesitant. He didn't know how it would necessarily look if he gave him that promotion, not just externally with media, but internally, other coaches, internally within the NFL. Pretty clear he's every bit the coordinator that Brandon Staley was or Raheem Morris, if not better. The Rams defense is maybe next to the Texans, the best in the NFL, the best in the NFC. You couple that with Matt Stafford, you've got the best team in football, the LA Rams. All right, we're going to get into that and a hell of a lot more with Jim Monos, with Bob McGinn, and of course, we'll have all sorts of stories at the site, including our column today, wrapping up all the games. Thanks so much for hanging out on Substack Live. We'll catch you next time.